Alhamdulillah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem amma ba'd. So we had started the Battle of Uhud. Let's quickly recap that part. So Abu Sufyan, remember, he did not take part in the Battle of Badr. Actually, maybe he could say that he was one of the catalysts for the Battle of Badr, as it was his caravan that they were going to intercept, and then he managed to escape. And then what happened was that he escaped. The disbelievers of Makkah still ensured that they went ahead to fight, and they were beaten soundly. He then made a promise that whatever he does, he's not going to take a ghusl until he fights with the Muslims. He went to Medina and he managed to kill two of the Ansar. Now he's planning and planning to bring a whole army. In the third year of Hijrah, he gathers an army of 3,000 soldiers. It consists of his own warriors, people from Makkah, along with other tribes as well. And they proceeded towards Medina. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam did mashwara of the Sahaba. There were two views. Some said, let's stay in and fight from here. Others, especially the younger ones, said, no, let's go out. And then the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam went out. 1,000 they were, but then Abdullah bin Ubay bin Salul, leader of the Munafiq, with 300 people, he turned and went back to Medina. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got to Uhud, and one of the first thing he did was he set up the positions, and there was one hilltop that he placed some 50 archers under the command of Abdullah bin Jubayr radiallahu anh. And when you go there, inshallah, may Allah take us over and over to the blessed lands, you'll see that hilltop, and that was very strategic. So, for example, the Muslims will be fighting in that side, and disbelievers coming from so. Now the hilltop is there, and why that's strategic? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam put the 50 archers there, so that if the horsemen are trying to come and attack from behind, these people here on the hilltop will not allow that. Right? The archers will be there to stop anybody trying to advance and come and attack the Muslims from behind. So they're very strategic. And he told them that no matter what, do not leave this place. If you are beaten, still don't move. If you are victorious, still don't move. Whatever you do, you need to stay here. The battle started and the Muslims were being victorious. During the battle, Sayyid al-Shuhada, Hamza radiallahu anhu, tasted martyrdom. And as we know, he wreaked havoc on the day of Badr, right? He caused a lot of fatalities and injuries and so on. And Jubair ibn Mut'im had said that whoever kills, he had Wahshi was his slave. So Wahshi, there's a lovely account in Bukhari in which he recounts how he killed Hamza radiallahu anh. So Jubair ibn Mut'im promised him that, you are very skilled as what we will call a javelin thrower, or you used to throw the spear, right? So from a far distance, he would throw the spear and he would hit his target, right? So he told him that this is I'm going to promise you freedom. I'm going to promise you freedom if you do this. Hinda, she also riled him up. So he says that I didn't really care about the battle. My thing was killing Hamza, getting freedom as a slave. So he says he waited, he took his opportunity, he had dipped the end of it in poison, so that once it strikes him, then the poison will go into his body as well. And he said, I saw him and I took him and he took him out. Hamza radiallahu anhu passed away. He tasted martyrdom. So the Muslims were being victorious. The Quraysh, they are fleeing. And on the hilltop now, the archers are seeing this. Now they're getting excited. Let's go pick up the spoils of war. These people have left many things behind. Let's go and join our brothers. And Abdullah bin Jubair saying, no, don't. Remember, they said, no, the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's message, so they're interpreting it. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's message is, but it's done. And he's warned them, no. They went along. Only a handful stayed with him. And that's when Khalid bin Walid, who was not a Muslim at the time, he took advantage. He saw it. He was on the cavalry, so he's riding the horses. They saw it, and they attacked. And all of the remaining archers that were there now were martyred. He comes and he starts attacking from behind. So remember, the Muslims now, they're basically celebrating, they're gathering things when now the enemy starts hitting. The enemy starts hitting, there are Muslims here, there are Muslims there, and the enemy is coming back. It became such that at one time it was like Muslims versus Muslims because you couldn't figure out who was who. And that's when the fatalities took place. The Sahaba, though, they rallied around Allah's Messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He also was hurt in this battle. Um, but the Sahaba came, and then it says that the announcement then went out that we have killed Muhammad because Musa bin Umair had a likeliness, right, in terms of his features with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when that announcement went out, the Sahaba just sat down, and a lot of them couldn't feel it. Anas ibn Nadr, there's a narration, he says he was going, and he said, "Where are you sitting down?" He said, "Oh, the messenger." He said, "No, I can smell Jannah by Uhud." And he rushed into the battle. They say when he was martyred, there was some on his fingertips. It probably was a mark, and that was how his sister identified him. His whole body was mutilated. Then some of the other Sahaba said, "Okay, if Muhammad has been martyred, is dead, is no longer with us, then let's go and fight. Then what is there to live for then?" And then there was a heroism. The Talha bin Ubaidillah, he used his body because their hope. Now imagine this, their hope is just killing Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they're going at the messenger, Allah's messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was hurt as well. He was bleeding. Um, he says he was hit by a stone. He fell on his side. One of his front teeth was smashed. His face his lip was injured. But there's a lovely part of the seerah that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was wiping the blood. He wasn't letting it touch the ground. Right? كأني أنظر إلى وجه رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Sayyidina, I think it's Ibn Mas'ud, the hadith. He says, وهو يمسح الدم عن وجهه. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was wiping the blood from his face. وهو يقول اللهم اغفر لقومي فإنهم لا يعلمون. Oh Allah, forgive my people because they don't know. And the scholars mention the reason the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was ensuring that the blood didn't reach the ground, because had the blood of a Nabi, had the blood of Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam reached the ground, then the adab of Allah would have come. And that's the kindness of the Messenger. These people are fighting him, right? Me and you in that situation say, to hell with them. Let them be destroyed. Allah's Messenger no. He's ensuring that the blood didn't touch the ground, because as I said, according to the scholars, had the blood of the Messenger touched the ground, you would have seen the adab of Allah coming upon these people. It says that the Prophet ﷺ had also fallen into a hole as well, so he was limping. And Talha bin Ubaidillah lifted him up. Malik ibn Sinan, he licked the blood that was flowing from the Prophet's face. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah radiallahu an, the metal chain strap on the helmet had pierced the cheek of the Messenger sallallahu, so he couldn't get it out. Abu Ubaidah ibn al-Jarrah went, and he, with his teeth, he pulled it out. He lost one tooth. He went again. He lost the other tooth. And that was love. That was love. It was during that battle. Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas was a talented shooter. Nabi Sallallahu was giving him the arrow and said, "Irmi ya Sa'd, fidaka bi wa ummi." Shoot, ya Sa'd, shoot. And so there was a lot of casualties. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba now are there. Now they regrouped. They regrouped. The Sahaba shouted out, because at first they started asking, "Is Muhammad with you?" And they didn't. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Umar, just relax, don't say that. And then the announcement, when they realized that the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was there, the Sahaba rallied again. And once again they came to the rescue. So the Quraysh did not realize what they wanted, the achievement they wanted, which was to kill the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and destroy the Muslims. They didn't get. Yes, the Muslims suffered casualties. A lot of Sahaba, a lot of the Ansari Sahaba were martyred, but they didn't get their wish, right? So what happens? Abu Sufyan then, before leaving, he started making the announcement that this is how war is. One day you win, one day you lose, and he started saying that we have Uzza, you have none. Allah's Messenger said, Umar respond, Allahumma maulana wa la maula lakum, right? And then Abu Sufyan said, okay, you know what? We'll meet at Badr again. We'll meet next year. Next year? for the continuation. Um, it was during this time. So then the Meccans leave. The Sahaba now go to see to the bodies of the fallen Muslim soldiers, the martyrs. Safiya radiallahu anha came running to see her brother's body. It was mutilated. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Zubair radiallahu anhu, her son, Safiya is his auntie, right? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's auntie. And she told Zubair, so he told Zubair, Zubair, do not let her see. And she said, no, no, no. I know that my brother has been mutilated, but it was for the sake of Allah. So I hope for goodly returns to him and shall be patient. And then he was buried at Uhud. Musab bin Umair, the youngster who grew up in a lap of luxury, when his body is to be covered, there was not enough cloth to cover his body. And they had to lay um, leaves on his feet area. But the love the Sahaba had and their devotion to the Messenger was such. There's another incident that when the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was returning out to Medina, as they are getting there, there's one lady who's coming out, and she's asking that, what has happened to the Messenger? So someone told her, your husband has passed away. He's been martyred. She said, no, I want to know what's happened to the Messenger. Said, your father has been martyred. Well, no, no, tell me what has happened to the Messenger. Said, your son has been martyred. I said, no, 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 I just want to know. And he said, it was husband, brother, and father. And I said, husband, brother, father. So he said, no, I want to know what's happened to the Messenger. And then he said, he's safe. He said, no, no, I need to see him. And when she saw him, she said, now that you're safe, every adversity is gone. That's the love, you know. Everyone, then nobody doesn't matter. Well, that's my beloved as well, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, what happened is the Meccans, they've left Medina, they've left that area of Uhud, sorry, and now they're thinking that we're not really successful because the Messenger is alive, Abu Bakr is alive, and Umar is alive. So that means our hope of extinguishing Islam, we failed. Yeah, we killed people, but we didn't really become successful. So they decide now that they're going to turn back. It was at that time when the news reached Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's in the fourth juz. We recited it in Taraweeh earlier. الذين استجابوا لله والرسول من بعد ما أصابهم القرح الذين أحسنوا منهم التقوى أجر عظيم. Allah's Messenger said, only those who are with us get up and come, and we're going to go back. And remember we discussed this in the dars. Imagine you're beaten, you're wounded, you're bleeding, you're nursing wounds, and suddenly the call of the Messenger comes. And to a man, they got up and they went. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused fear in the hearts of the Meccans. And they didn't even respond. They went along. They ran away basically. And the Muslims went to what was called Hamra al-Asad in that area. They also engaged in some trade. They made some profit. So this actually, was revitalized the spirits of the Muslims as well. So from the lessons, and perhaps one of the great lessons is that you listen to the Messenger to the T. Whatever the Messenger says, you hold on to. And also, you never think that, you never place your trust in numbers, because it is the help of Allah that brings victory. And then most of all, this was a warning to the Sahaba that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam will depart one day from this world. Now, how are you going to be? Right? That was when the verses وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ came down. That Muhammad is a messenger. قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِ الرُّسُلِ. So if he is martyred or if he passes away, does that mean that you're going to give up? So that was an eye-opener at the time for the Sahaba. That if Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam departs from this world, we still need to continue. Then after that, there were a few other, in the aftermath of Uhud, the fighting, the skirmishes continued. There was one particular skirmish that I'll touch on and conclude. This was in the third year of Hijrah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent 6 companions to teach 2 of the tribes, but they betrayed the trust and they started attacking them. The Sahaba were captured, Most of them were killed, 3 were captured, and amongst them was Zayd ibn Dathina and Khubayb bin Adi radiallahu anh. And that was when the famous incident that the Sahabi was taken. He was taken, and as he was being taken to the gallows, he was being taken to be hanged. Abu Sufyan came and said, tell me, do you wish that in your place is Muhammad? And he said, I would not be able to bear that I am sitting at home with my family and a thorn pricks the body of my beloved Messenger. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That was the love they had. And so all of these things were actually, opening the eyes of someone like Abu Sufyan as well. That these people are just giving their lives for this man. There has to be something special about him. Then after that, there was another um, Bi'r Mauna, in which these were the Qurra. Another tribe, some tribes came, they said, send us some people who could teach. Allah's Messenger sent 70 of the Sahaba. And when they reached this place, it was called Bir Mauna. It was there that the tribesmen of a number of tribes ambushed the party and they killed all of them. One of them remained, Ka'b ibn Zayd. They thought he was dead, but then he wasn't dead. And then what happened? And why I have to say this now is because this will continue to tomorrow. What happened is when he was leaving, he passed by 2 innocent people who were from these tribes, and he went and killed them. Just remember this for tomorrow. As he was leaving to go back. So that's how Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam heard the story. They killed everyone except him. And he got up, he passed by 2 innocent people who are not party. And he killed these 2 people. And he went back. But it was in this battle though that Haram ibn Milhan uttered those famous words. That when the person came to attack him and kill him, and he was attacked, the words that he said was Fustu Rabbil Kaaba. That by the Qasam, I take an Qasam, an oath on the Lord of the Kaaba, I have become successful. So when he said that, his attacker went afterwards to find out that I'm killing a man and he's saying he is successful. And that was the catalyst for this person then to become a Muslim. So now we're going to go to the expulsion of the Banu Nadir and then the subsequent happiness, inshallah. We do that tomorrow, inshallah. SubhanAllah. Just a reminder, the 21st night has started. So it could be Shabi Qadr. Never know.